top crazy, which has its benefits too. But you have Jeremy Irons putting together a great performance. You have
We're recording, so
we're recording.
yeah.
Yeah, so you have Jeremy Irons giving a great performance. You
Mhm.
have Bruce Willis doing his great McClane way,
Yeah,
and
killing
then
it.
Samuel L. Jackson. You can't go wrong
Oh,
with that.
please, come on. Samuel L. Jackson. I think he's very underrated.
He's kind of like Christopher Walken, where he will take on if he has the time, he'll take on any role, and he'll just like, what's the script? All right,
Yeah.
good movie, bad movie, mediocre
Yeah.
movie. He'll do it, and he'll.
The early bird gets the worm. The second mouse gets the cheese.
But yeah, no, Die Hard with a Vengeance is my favorite, for sure.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, for me it's first, third, second.
No, see, for me, Die Hard with a Vengeance #1.
Really?
Yeah, I like that even better than the original.
Mm,
Because to me, it's. Well, I guess Die Hard with a Vengeance is 3, so it's 3, 1, 4, 2, and then whatever the last one was.
hmm.
Live Free or Die Hard was the last
Yeah.
one.
Oh no. That. Good Day to Die Hard.
A Good Day to Die Hard.
Yeah,
that's
with
right,
this kid who's like
Yeah,
CIA
Live Free or Die
agent,
Hard is
and
my
like,
third favorite one. Just because it's with Timothy Olyphant, and it's
Yeah.
so over the top, but it's like it's the good kind of over the top
right.
crazy.
Yeah, no, I get it. Yeah, definitely. It's I mean, it did return back.
McClane.
It did. It kind of brought like some of the darkness like back into Die Hard. Not necessarily tonally, but just like visually.
Yeah,
It was much
definitely.
more darker. But yeah, just like the absurdity of the things that had happened to him. Like, he's
When
being
he
shot.
jumped the car into the helicopter, that was
Yeah,
the best.
yeah.
Or when he was like, he was getting gunned down by he was
Yeah,
on a jet plane that was.
Yeah, and he was driving the semi, and then he was being shot at by the fighter, the jet fighter, and then
He jumped on top of the fighter and
yeah.
brought it down single-handedly.
Yes.
Fucking awesome. And
Oh,
I remember
man.
because I was watching all of them I watched all of them with Joyce, and that one like when we got to Die Hard with Live Free or Die Hard, when that I think it was the one where at the beginning when he jumped the car into the helicopter, she's like, "Oh come on!"
Oh, yeah,
and then
yeah.
that one where like he survived like Superman like bringing down the jet plane.
Yeah.
That
Oh,
first of all,
man.
that was like straight 80s like
Yeah.
doing that.
Oh no, yeah, that was definitely a callback to like the over the top like machismo, the guy he could have a building blown
Yeah.
up on top of him and like still walk out unscathed.
And she like kind of almost did a spit take and like, oh come on, she's like walking around the room with like how crazy it was, but she was like, yeah, it was still awesome. But yeah, no, Die Hard with a Vengeance is like one of the great scenes from that one was where they obviously they're the bad guys are stealing all the gold from the Federal Reserve,
Mm-hmm.
and what was Samuel Jackson's character's name in that movie?
Zeus.
That's right. And Zeus steals one of the gold bullion
Yeah, the
bricks, and he ends up breaking out the car window to steal it. It's like, oh, dude, that guy's that dude's not gonna be happy that we stole his car. It's like, oh, he will be when he looks in the back seat. He's like, oh shit,
Yeah.
like I forgot.
Yeah, I realized that he left the gold brick.
Yeah.
But imagine like running around with that, trying to do all the crazy things that. they
Those
have
things
done.
are heavy.
Yeah, they're
They're really
legitimately
heavy.
heavy. So.
Oh man, but yeah, no, the Die Hard is great. Die Hard with a Vengeance for sure.
Oh, absolutely. Abso-friggin-lutely.
Probably. What is your favorite action movie, by the way? I don't think we've ever talked about that.
Action movie. Oh man, it's so hard to pick though.
Yeah. Oh, I mean, it's like you had to go. Like, are we looking at like kind of like 80s over the top?
Yeah,
Are we
talking? Are we talking about the trinity of Schwarzenegger, Van Damme, and Stallone, or are we,
Because I have a few that I
or
really
more
like.
nuanced like the Keanu Reeves,
Ooh, that's a good. Oh, I didn't think of that. Oh, that's
Because Keanu Reeves is an action hero.
It is.
Action hero in and of himself. Because he did like Point Break and he
Speed.
did Speed, right? And of course, like then he goes in, then he crosses,
according to-
genres into like sci-fi, fantasy, like
Yeah.
into Matrix.
Yeah, or according to Homer, the bus that couldn't slow down.
Right.
Or it's like.
Yeah, he
Or-
kept,
or-
he
or-
kept saying speed. It's like, yeah, it's like this. I saw this movie where the bus's speed couldn't go below a certain speed limit, and then they had to keep a steady speed. I think it was called the bus that couldn't slow down.
or Millhouse, it's like Speed too. It's like Speed, but this time they're on a boat. Or no, there was something more like ridiculous than. There was a line that Millhouse had about like Speed 2 and like making that was like the better film. First of all, it didn't have Keanu Reeves.
No,
which is,
I know.
like,
When they swapped them out, it's like, why? He was that movie.
I don't recognize Speed 2.
Oh no,
That's not part of
I don't
that.
recognize it as canon. Although they
That's
had,
why there was no 3.
yeah. But getting Willem Dafoe to be the bad guy,
Pretty good.
pretty good. I mean,
Yeah.
good follow of bad guy. At least in terms of actors.
You can't beat Dennis Hopper
I know,
though.
Dennis
He's
Hopper,
the
though.
quintessential bad guy.
Yeah,
I
he
love
is.
Dennis Hopper.
Right.
Rest
And it was
in
like
peace.
funny, yeah, rest in peace. Because he like even though he was like menacing and threatening, he was like still kind of charming. Like when he took Sandra Bullock hostage and like
Yeah.
she was holding on to a dead man's stick and then it's like oh don't do that, we want to go exploding prematurely now. It's
Yeah.
like,
He's like funny as being the bad guy
Yeah,
too, where,
yeah.
but he's believable as a bad guy,
right.
like
right.
kind of that crazy, like the real crazy like bad guy where they're not dumb, they're not like mentally deranged, they're just crazy.
Yeah.
Like, well, man, I guess it would be kind of a little bit of a spoiler where like in 24 when like season 1 where it turns out he's the bad guy.
You mean Jack Bauer?
Yeah,
Jack Bauer turned out to be the bad guy?
No. No. Dennis Hopper turned out to be the bad guy. Remember, in season 1. Did you ever watch 24?
Not the whole way through.
Oh God, Andy. Okay. Before Game of Thrones, before any, well, you've already watched 13 Reasons Why now, but
Not because I wanted to.
yeah, you.
Let's just be clear about that. Not because I
lying.
wanted to. Not
He is-
because I wanted to.
You're a liar.
No, because of you.
But you gotta watch 24. The twist at the end of season 1. I mean, every season to me it was fantastic, but the twist at end of season 1.
Well, I mean, you kind of.
No, I didn't give a. There's another twist after that. But where, yeah, I was like, holy shit.
Okay.
Yeah, I watched because it is like really, the whole series is like 24 hours.
Yeah.
Like literally. I watched the entire season 1 in one sitting.
Wow.
Yeah. That's how good it is.
Okay.
I was like, well, I'm calling in sick tomorrow. It was just that good. Oh my God. Yeah, no, the twist on, I mean, Dennis Hopper is the bad guy. He was a great bad guy in that one. But the twist at the end, super betrayal of Jack Bauer. As are many seasons, there's always some like pretty big betrayal.
Right.
But if you like action, like crazy over the top action, but with like good drama at the same time, 24 is your show. But speaking of like favorite action films, yeah, like Die Hard or The Vengeance is up there for me. I like the Jason Bourne series. That's a good one. That's more of like a modern action film.
Yeah, because it was definitely that transition to like the more realistic, in terms of fight choreography,
Right.
in terms of like kind of the overall storytelling.
Right.
Also, it's like more of like a modern take.
Right. Like Mission Impossible 3 is a really good one.
Yeah.
I'm really excited to watch the new one that's out. I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm actually gonna.
I'm actually gonna see that before Ant-Man 2.
Yeah. Yeah. Well.
Because I already know that I'm gonna like that.
Yeah. But what is it? Yeah, I'm giving up my movie pass, or I'm canceling my movie pass.
Oh, I never got one, so
Yeah. Well, yeah, because they're like just messing up so much that it's just not even. It's not even fun anymore.
yeah.
Because like.
To be honest, I don't know how that even got like through to anything because to me it was like one of those like deals like this seems too good to be true, and it's
Yeah,
like
and
someone is losing money off.
No,
of
no,
this.
no, yeah, no. That they actually did. They ran out of money, and they had to like shut down the app for like a day or so. But what was it? Uh, yeah, no, they were just like hemorrhaging money, and
Yeah.
they, people were scamming. They're like, some people were like gaming the system, and one of the biggest scams that I read about was they would go to they would go like to the theaters that you had to go to the concession stands to buy tickets.
Right.
What they would do is then get their ticket, but also like get popcorn and soda, and then use the card.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and so that was like one way that they
That
were
fucks everyone over.
exactly. And so
Because that's where the movie theaters make their money back. Is
Mhm.
they're not making money off the movie; they're making money off the concessions.
yeah, and so that was
I mean,
like one of
everyone's
the
got to make money. If you want to watch movies, you should
Right.
buy concessions. Yeah, it's a little expensive, but it keeps them in business.
right, 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 and so yeah, and then all of a sudden like they instituted peak hour pricing.
Yeah.
Whereas like they'll charge you an extra $5 on top of the like already $10 that you already paid for the service. Like that's I mean I understand, but it's
Yeah.
stupid. And then they started removing theaters and movie times. And then
Like new movies, I know like you had to wait like a couple weeks before you could use it.
yeah, well yeah, that and like Mission Impossible, like it was a Sunday and I wanted to go watch it, and I'd opened the app from a previous time I'd opened the app, so I wanted to make sure that the times were correct, and then on the app it said Mission Impossible. I refreshed it, and boom, it disappeared.
Oh shit.
Like not even offering anymore. Not even just like limited times, but just completely.
Yeah, it was off.
Yeah, no, not a single offering.
The Scientologist got to you.
Yeah. But yeah, it's just like, and then it happened again like recently. Me and James were gonna go and watch Ant-Man, and it had a time of 7 o'clock, and so we get there like an hour before, because, we wanted to make sure we get seats, and then we were gonna go get the ticket and then go eat dinner. But then we went and we checked the time and it was gone.
Yep.
Yeah, like only like a few hours had elapsed from when we decided to go to when we looked up the time, and then when we got to the theater. It's like, what the hell happened?
Yeah, that's Yeah, everyone's like, "Oh, dude, you should get Movie Pass. You should get this." Like,
I mean,
it's-
initially too, I sang the praises of Movie Pass, and it was
Yeah.
an amazing deal. $10 for 30 movies a month.
It's not yeah.
It's not a bad deal, but the model was unsustainable.
Yeah, that's why I was like, it's like this. It just felt like because I come from a long line of con artists and those type of people. So it's like this seems way.
Yeah, damn Hungarians.
Well, that's definitely true. I mean, we're a shifty bunch. Was it this game that I'm playing, Kingdom Come Deliverance? Yeah, it's set in the Middle Ages, like the Holy Roman Empire, like kind of in what's now modern day Czech Republic.
Mhm.
But the Hungarians are the bad guys in this game. It's pretty
Of course
awesome.
they are.
Yeah, of course.
Of course they are. That's no surprise.
Hey, and honestly, there's no good Hungarian actors anymore. Like all those old movies we've been watching.
Oh,
So many
yeah.
great Hungarian actors.
Yeah, I think what is it? Peter Lorre was the last one,
Yeah, that was the last one.
or at
we
least
saw in there.
the most famous.
True. I mean, you could say Bela Lugosi is, he's right up there. He was more typecast, unfortunately, because of his, rough Hungarian accent.
That's for sure.
But yeah, no, it's not really too many great Hungarian actors anymore.
Mm.
All the New Zealanders, Australians, and Brits are taking over.
Oh yeah. Like that one Maori guy. I know there was like some flack because he played, even though he was Maori, of Maori descent, he played Los Angeles Chicano. You know, he was like in Training Day. He was the I don't know, Smiley or whatever, with the one with the mustache, the
Yeah,
boss.
yeah, yeah.
At the time, no one really thought anything of it, but yeah, he was a Maori playing
Cultural appropriation.
playing a Mexican. So
Fucking Maoris,
I
like
know.
cultural appropriating.
Chicano culture. Hey, Holmes, vato.
It's like you couldn't find like an actor.
No, it was
that-
crazy though, because like the two other actors, they were like Mexican or like
Yeah.
of Hispanic descent, and it's like, but like for him, like
That makes me think that like certain people that get hired on to like these acting roles. It's like, all right, for this like studio, it's like, well, we have to get them in a movie. Crap, like this isn't a good movie to put him in. What role can we throw him in that's like
yeah.
And so it's like, well, you kind of look this
Like you kind of
way.
look like a beaner.
Yeah, so we're just gonna
Just slap a
take-
mustache on you.
give you a go to a voice coach, and you're gonna learn how to play this role.
Right. Yeah, but
I
I mean,
I
he
really
wasn't-
think that's what happens.
Yeah, I mean, because I'm sure actors nowadays they're like represented, and if they get like a good like agent or whatever, then they can get like certain deals. Like, okay, you'll be the supporting actor in this movie, but what I was able to get for you is, or no, you be a supporting actor in these 5 movies, and then they'll give you 3 movies where you're the star.
That's also probably true too.
Yeah.
And so everyone's saying it's like, man, why can't they just like get like Asian actors into this type of movie, or so and such actor, and just like it's different. That's not how it works. And it's not like usually the person that's like writing the screenplay or directing doesn't have a whole, depending on who it is, doesn't really have a whole lot of sway, and it's usually the studios that have the sway in who gets hired on
I
what.
and I can understand
Because they're the
like,
ones that fund the movie.
and I can understand the cries for representation and all that stuff.
Yeah.
But isn't the whole point of acting to be something that you're not?
Well, we had the whole like Scarlett Johansson.
Well, remember when people were like losing their shit a little bit when they said that Leonardo DiCaprio was being tapped to play Martin Luther King probably in that Selma biopic.
Wait, Leonardo DiCaprio?
Yeah, and they're like gonna make like do blackface or whatever, or do like a CG rendering on his face to make him.
I did not hear
make him
about
black.
this. No.
Yeah,
Well, hell, if Robert Downey Jr. can do it, why can't Leo?
I know. That's what I was thinking.
Because let me be honest. Say what you will about Tropic Thunder, but Robert Downey Jr. stole that performance.
No, exactly.
It was fucking
He was-
amazing.
Yeah, he made that movie.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, yeah, okay. Robert Downey Jr. and Tom Cruise both made that movie because Tom Cruise was fucking hilarious
And-
as the Asian
Right.
guy.
And the cool thing that with Tom Cruise is crazy fuck as that guy is.
Uh-huh.
He didn't kind of like how like Matt Damon sometimes does. Not in any of the trailers. Doesn't have a acting credit really.
Right.
He just like just throw me in. I'll play
I'll
whatever
do it
you
for
want.
free.
And it's like, and it's awesome when they do that. It's just like kind of this. Fuck it, like I'll, it's maybe like doing it for a friend or something like that.
Yeah, it was like Emilio Estevez when he was
Oh yeah.
in the first Mission Impossible. He wasn't even credited. He just did it as a favor for Tom Cruise.
That's right, he did.
Yeah.
That was that's But yeah, no, the Tropic Thunder is an underrated comedy.
No, it is. Yeah. And it, the whole acting profession.
What do you mean, you people?
No. Yeah, the whole acting profession is summed up in one line that Robert Downey Jr. says, when he says, "I'm a dude pretending to be a dude, pretending to be another dude."
Yeah.
That's what acting is. And that's what acting is.
That's right, I forgot that line. Oh my god, I was in tears watching that film. It's so good. Oh my gosh. But yeah, no, the whole Scarlett Johansson thing was just, it's crazy because you're not gonna. Okay, first let's just say in the like the 3% or like 2% or whatever that are are of transgender or whatever. They you know of that like 3%, like maybe 0.1% are actors, right? Like or like point like even like probably less than that. It's probably like 0.001% are actors that are of that orientation.
Yeah.
So how the hell are you gonna get someone that a not only is of that category, that's an actor, then that is also good enough to play the that role, and then do all and fit all the quotas that the directors in the studio want. That's not gonna happen.
Right, and like,
And that's that, or it's like we have to have everyone representing like everyone, or like that's how we're going to make life better, and that's how people can know that they can achieve something. It's like no, it's like and first of all, it's like what if you want like a movie that's made about your quote unquote plight or whatever the fuck, you want someone where Scarlett Johansson is a name that's going to sell movie tickets.
Right.
Whatever you think about her acting ability, her name's going to sell tickets.
Right.
And because of that, I think she's a decent enough actress. She can play whatever role she wants. And if like you want like your story out there, then get the people that are the high names, because that's how the movie's going to make mainstream.
Exactly, because Scarlett Johansson is a name. People, she's a household name. Everyone knows who she is if you say her name, and like it's the difference between if you let's say that they got an actual trans man, meaning woman who transitioned into a man, to play that role.
So a real woman,
Yeah.
like Scarlett Johansson.
No.
Yeah,
no.
yeah.
Yeah. So, if they got like a trans actor, then it'd be basically a indie movie.
Right.
But if you get Scarlett Johansson to be in the movie, then it's a mainstream like blockbuster, maybe not blockbuster, but then it could be even an Oscar contender, which will then give it get more eyeballs on it, and get the plight of transgender people to more people, to like the middle of the country even.
Yeah. Oh yeah, absolutely. And that's what I'm thinking. It's like, if you want your lifestyle out there, you want eyeballs.
Yeah, if you want acceptance, you need to get that you need to get that movie in front of as many people as possible, and it shouldn't matter who the actor is. It should only matter that the movie gets made,
Right.
and it gets seen by as many people as possible.
I mean, this is even like my viewpoint again, for or against like transgenderism or all that stuff. It's just in reality, if like okay, let's go with your the thought train of the people that are calling for Scarlett Johansson can't be this person, or it can't act in this movie. Those people at the same time also want to be like taken seriously, and they want their story out there. So, to have the most eyeballs, you got to get those A actors in there.
Right.
In certain cases, like we've talked about was that movie with Chris Pratt and what's her face, the chick from Hunger Games.
Oh, yeah. God, it was that crappy a movie. Passengers.
Yeah, Passengers,
Yeah,
right?
and Jennifer Lawrence.
Thank you. It
It was like right on the tip of my brain.
I think I just like the heat is just sapping my brain strength.
Yeah.
But anyways, so with
But
that
it's so
movie
amazing
too,
that
like
we could have the air conditioning on now.
I know that helps save it a lot.
Yeah.
But no, with that movie too, where it's like we need to have more women represented in equal pay and all that. So it's like, well, that's not how the payment system in Hollywood works. Like,
Right.
She wasn't in the movie for like
As much as Chris Pratt.
It was like an hour in, like when she finally like made her first
Right.
appearance.
Yeah.
And
No,
it's
yeah.
like she had a lot less lines than Chris Pratt. Now, arguably, Jennifer Lawrence is a
Bigger name.
bigger name than Chris Pratt, at least at that time.
At
for
that
sure.
time, yeah.
Um,
Yeah, because he was just coming off. At that time, he was just coming off of Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, the first one.
And his star was just beginning to rise, whereas hers
Was well
like
established.
well established and kind of plateaued.
I don't know if she had quite. She was definitely at her peak at that point.
Yeah,
When
but I know-
Passengers
well,
came out.
I think she had plateaued.
She had reached the peak. She hadn't like taken the dive.
No,
down, 'cause she
right. So
took-
I think she plateaued and just like kind of like maintained for a little bit.
Yeah.
And then she came out with that god awful movie Mother, and like.
I heard the what was it? Was it that like spy movie that she did? Was,
Oh, Red Sparrow.
Yeah, I heard that was actually fairly decent.
I heard that from Andrew Clavin too.
Yeah, I'm kind of curious, like because he has
Yeah.
a good taste in movies.
Mhm.
I'm curious to check
Yeah,
that one out.
and he's a writer, so.
Yeah, but yeah, no, Mother was awful.
Yeah.
And everyone, hey, everyone throws out a clunker once. There's certain movies that even like the best of actors can't save it.
Yeah.
But no, yeah, it's like, so you could argue that, okay, maybe she, because she's the quote unquote bigger name or the name draw, maybe, yeah, okay, you get a certain bump in pay for that. But it's also like the lines in the movie,
like
whereas Chris
like
Pratt is
who's-
the clear lead of that movie.
Yeah.
Because
Who's doing more work?
And in fact, he's,
You know?
there's monologues that Chris Pratt has that he's doing.
Yeah, I mean, it go like the network E, they had some controversy too because one of their male hosts was getting paid more than one of their female hosts, and like they were both like more or less doing the same job.
Right.
And I think like the woman like host, was doing it a little bit longer, but then the guy, he was doing more. Like he was doing more like in front of camera stuff. Like he was doing more like daily reports, and he was also doing weekend stuff, and he was also doing like the award show stuff. And she was like doing maybe like every other day, or only like the big one, like the Oscars. And then she's complaining that she was getting less money. It's like, well, bitch,
You're not doing
it half as much as this guy here.
right.
He's doing a lot more work than you are.
Yeah, I mean,
And it doesn't matter like if he started like before you, but you guys are also doing comparable jobs. He's doing more.
Yeah.
So then shouldn't he then be rewarded by getting more money? Like even
Exactly.
the rate might not even be the same. Like she might be getting like 5,000, and he might be getting like 3,000 per like thing. But just the fact that he's doing more, which makes him earn more.
Yeah, it's that's the the sad thing too is like, yeah, okay, if you are doing the exact same amount as this person over here and you're not getting paid enough, well then it's like, okay, well it's then maybe we have a lot to discuss.
Mhm.
But the fact that like you're not doing as much, then it's like, why you're still getting paid pretty well, like.
Right. Yeah.
It's like if you want to do more, like perform and get more work.
Mhm.
It's like so that they want you on camera more. You get
Yeah.
like more of those opportunities.
Right, and I think what was it? Yeah, for like that Chris Pratt, Jennifer Lawrence thing, he was receiving 10 or like 12 million, and then she was receiving 8. And they're like, oh,
Which is like and that's pretty generous, I think.
yeah, that's really generous for someone who's only in the movie like
For
an
maybe,
hour
like-
in, an hour in.
Yeah, she's in it for like maybe like 30, 40 minutes, I think.
Yeah, and and then like of course like this was about the time of the Sony hacks, and what was it? Of course, then like the feminists and whatever, they started complaining. It's like, oh, and then so they bumped her up to like 20 million, I think, and they're like, finally equality. It's like, whoa. That's
No.
not equality. If they bumped her up to Chris Pratt's number to
There you
12
go,
million, that's equality.
Kind of, sort of, but yeah.
Yeah. And that's equality. You're saying because a woman is, but then she got, they gave her like 18 million more or something. That
Yeah,
might not be accurate. But,
Yeah, but no, with
but
the
they eventually, but she did get like the bigger
bigger
doll,
payday, yeah.
bigger payday. And I was like, how is that equality if she's getting more money than him? If they, that would be equality.
right. That's the yeah. Oh, and with Hollywood, I know it like works differently because there's the amount of dialogue, screen time,
Like
experience.
words per page or whatever.
Yeah, like there's the like the work time and experience, like if you're a known actor or not. And I think the studio also has like a lot to say too, where it's like we're not making this movie unless this guy's in it, as like either a supporting actor or a lead actor, so on, whatever. So there's a lot of factors. Like we talked about with Doctor Strangelove, they weren't going to finance that film unless Peter Sellers played several characters.
Right.
That was the stipulation for that movie getting made. So it's like, those characters might have been, two or three actors are out of work because Peter Sellers had to play 4 guys.
Right. And even though he played like 3 different characters, did he get 3 different paychecks? I don't think so.
Yeah. And he probably would never argued for that either.
No, exactly. Because back then you're just like, okay, that's the job, and
Right.
I'm gonna be paid for it regardless. So
Yeah.
if
And
those are
that's-
if those are the parameters of the job, and we agreed upon this amount of money for my participation, it's like okay, and that's how the free market works. It's like you don't have to get paid like that much for this specific work. You can go and find this specific work, but that pays more. But good luck, and good luck to you. It's just it's not like you should make a certain amount of money for this work. It's just like it should be, whatever the market is offering. And I mean, I understand like to some point that a minimum wage is good, but it also artificially inflates things.
Yeah, I know there's that argument that it's like, the minimum wage should just be gone regardless, and you can kind of negotiate like a fair wage for your whatever job it is. But I don't know. That's like, it gets into more of like a kind of an economical discussion, which I'm not really like a great expert on.
Right. Nor am I.
Yeah.
So.
The but it's funny how like with these actors, it's like it's these actors that are, I'm getting paid millions, but I'm not getting paid enough millions, so I need more equality. There's a wage gap. It's like,
bitch, you make more than a man working on an assembly line will in like 5 years.
or a lifetime.
Yeah,
in
or
some
or
cases.
in some countries in a lifetime.
Yeah.
And so what the fuck are you bitching about? What, you have to like, what? So you have to like pay for your lifestyle, you have to pay for an agent, you have to pay for a publicist. You have to pay for a house with really big walls to keep all the peasants out.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, spare me your righteous indignation.
Yeah. And then they, chastise like someone was like, I want to be a stay-at-home mom and like take care of my kids.
That's the problem. Like that's my problem with feminism because they never validated the choice to be a single stay-at-home mother or a stay-at-home wife.
Yeah.
Because they said like, oh yeah, women should have a choice. It's like, okay, well I want to be a housewife. No, that's a wrong choice.
Yeah, because I'm a mom. She was, she worked before she had me.
Mm-hmm.
Then she had me, and she decided to be a stay-at-home mom.
Mm-hmm.
And then, once I graduated high school and left the house.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, well, I guess I don't need to be a stay-at-home mom anymore, and she went to work again.
Right, and I mean, it's not like you can't come up with a side hustle. There's plenty of people. There's plenty of women I know that have kids and stuff, but they also have like a side hustle where they do like Etsy stuff, or they make little baskets, to make a little extra money on the side.
Right.
So it's and then but that's not glamorous enough. That's not high profile enough. Where it's like, oh well, that's women aren't seen. Women need to be seen. It's just like, why? Like, it's like,
It's
why
not
do
like we're
women?
hiding
Why
them
do
in the
yeah?
basement.
Why do women need to be seen? As much as men. It's like I'm sure men don't want to be seen that much either. They just want to keep their head down and work. Most men, they're not looking for like big extravagant like positions. I mean, it does, status does help in like the mating rituals, but men aren't like necessarily clamoring for CEO positions. It just sometimes that's how it happens.
Right.
Because a person like a man, he enjoys working on cars, and so he starts fixing cars for his friends, and then his friend starts referring people over to him, and then all of a sudden he has like a small business. And then he keeps getting like more and more referrals, and like he can't do it out of his garage anymore, and so he has to buy space. But then now there's too much work to be done by himself, so he has to hire people, and then slowly but surely, you know, um, you know, some men definitely decide to build something, and other men they just like kind of build something over time. Which I hope this is something that is true for us, with all this new equipment that we just bought, and
Yeah, hopefully that'll give us more business.
yes, I know.
Well, no, like
Whatever. I just want to sell some Dollar Shave Club and
Yeah.
Audible subscriptions,
some Bush beer.
some Bush Beer or Gatorade. Totally.
Although I think we're selling out our original
I know.
unofficial
Right?
sponsor,
I know.
Cactus Cooler.
Cactus Cooler, always the best.
We'll hawk whatever.
Yes. Yeah. Give us a check and we'll hawk it.
Yeah. The what was it? One of my bowling partners. He owns a business called Mr. Scissors. It's a barber shop.
Uh-huh.
He's gone from like one shop now to two now he has like 3 or 4 that are in the valley.
Uh-huh.
And he's like, yeah, man, like business is good, and like we're expanding, and
Yeah.
it's like, and he would have thought that that little business that he started would have become what it is today.
Right. Yeah. And I mean, yes. And again, it goes back to my, I'm sure like your friend, he didn't realize that the being a barber was going to be his way to like, financial stability
No.
and all that stuff. But
And we're gonna have him on to talk about that.
Oh,
too.
yeah. Good. I think we should like, more like, I think, we need to hear more like stories of entrepreneurship,
Yeah.
because, kids nowadays are fed the lies. Like you have to go to school and then you get a good job. It's like, that's not guaranteed.
Yeah.
And plus like the value of your college degree has been watered down so much. It's basically, the bachelor's degree is now the new high school diploma. And it,
And you're now like $50, $100, $150,000 in debt afterwards.
yeah, and you
in
can't,
most cases.
and you can't default on that. You can't declare bankruptcy on that. You have to pay it back.
Yeah.
And like, or if you don't, then it's like it sticks with you forever.
Yep.
And and I mean, a lot of different people have been saying it, but the higher education bubble is the next one to go. It was first like the housing, now it's gonna be higher education.
Oh, absolutely. You
loans.
can see it happening.
Yeah.
And especially with all the nonsense that's going on in college campuses
Yeah, it's
now.
unsustainable. Yeah, no rational parent wants to send their kids to college now.
I don't blame them.
No, I don't blame them either. I'm even telling like kids, like high school kids or recently graduated kids at my church.
Trade school.
Yeah, trade school. It's like become an electrician.
Dude, seriously.
They make 6 figures.
Electricians, plumbing, AC repairmen. Like that's where the money's at right now.
Yeah, no, yeah.
And it's hard work, but like, dude,
you will never be out of work.
My one of my close friends, he's an older guy. He's a family friend, but he's become like my friend now too. We used to work together, and he's an electrical engineer. And yeah, it's just like, I like computers. I like tinkering with stuff, and and he's kind of like, I'm OCD, so like getting all the wires in the right place, making sure everything's connected, and like how like things get connected and start working together. It's like I love that stuff, and the two worlds met together, and here I am today. And he started off with his own business, like it was a business called like Omnitech or whatever, and then he ended up selling that business, and he's making good money. Like, and he's also, I don't know if he completely sold the business, but he's working for another company utilizing like his company, and then like he gets hired out to like all these other like aviation places, and the guy like is doing pretty made a good living, and he's doing what he likes.
That's good. That's key. I would say.
Yeah.
That's a key thing.
I think if I could do things a little differently, I may have tried to do like kind of like the electrical work.
Mhm.
Although that's it's kind of one of those like mysteries of the world. Like I don't know, God did it. Yeah, it's like electricity is it's that was what is it like my dad. He was always a really like handy guy. We used to he used to do all the kitchen repair, plumbing repair and stuff. We didn't have a ton of money growing up, and he's like, but as soon as like it came to like when electrical like it was in it, he's like, yeah, we're gonna hire someone to do that because we are not electrocuting ourselves. I do not understand electrical at all.
Right. Yeah. I mean, my dad knows a little bit about electrical stuff, so he like some smaller stuff, smaller problems he'll handle himself. But yeah, but luckily my uncle he's a master electrician.
Yeah.
So.
Well, it's like it's tough enough for like houses and like cars. Once you start getting into the aviation world,
yeah, completely.
That's
completely different language.
oh my gosh. I mean,
Similar vowels, but different alphabet.
Yeah, because I used to because I worked inventory at my last job, so I knew like all the part numbers and all this stuff. The wiring thing is like if they're not even like labeled correctly, you're either like stuff's not gonna work or stuff's gonna blow up. That's
Oh wow.
that's how like sensitive all that stuff is, and just based off the wiring. And unfortunately, it's you think that they would color code the wiring. It's all the same color, so you
Oh,
have to go
jeez.
off the name code that's on the wire to make sure you're doing the right thing.
Oh wow.
Because we used to build like the wire harnesses and stuff for these things that we were working on. We actually started the business I was at last time. They were starting to do a project for SpaceX, building their wire harnesses for the rockets they're shooting or that they're testing out with.
Right.
And yeah, like if you don't have the wiring right, I mean nothing's gonna work. Really, yeah. But yeah, no, trade school. That's definitely the way to go.
Yeah, seriously. Every kid like is like I asked them, oh, so what are you planning? Say, oh, I don't know. Like go to school. Maybe like one kid specifically is like, oh, go to school. Maybe join the army. I was like, okay, join the army. That's go. And
But don't become just like an infantryman because you can't utilize that skill
right,
outside
yeah.
of.
I mean,
Unless you're
if
going to
you
be the
are an
military the
infantryman,
entire life.
then try and go to like a non combat specialty.
Well, even no, like because even then, like if you're just like a sniper or like a infantryman, that's all you're gonna do.
Right.
That's where it's like go into like a rating like that you can utilize like whether it's if you're repairing Jeeps for the army.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Now you're a mechanic. You can
Right.
take those skills outside like
or like if you work on Apaches,
right.
then you become an aviation specialist.
Right, or in the case of my friend Peter, who we went in the Navy together, he was a corpsman. Now he's working in nursing. So it's
right.
like all those skills that he learned in kind of crazy combat situations. Now he gets to put them in. It's like, oh, the emergency room, pfft, no big deal. I've dealt with this in combat field. So, and yeah, so it's. I always say like, yeah, if you're gonna join the military, that's great. I think that's a very admirable thing to do. Make sure you're having them teach you a skill that you can utilize when you're not in the military anymore.
Or
Because there's
take
gonna
it-
come a day when you're not in the military.
Right. Or take advantage of after you get out, take advantage of the GI Bill.
Oh yeah, you got to sign up for that stuff. Sign up for all like the bonuses that you can for like towards retirement. Save your money, do all that stuff. It's
Seriously.
because even though like I went through that that whole like year where I wasn't working, didn't really have any money, but I didn't have like no money at the same time because I have a lot invested in
Right.
retirement
And saved
accounts
up
and
and-
like so I can't touch that money right now, which thank God I can't. But it's building, and so like when I get to a point where like my body just caves in and I can't work anymore when I'm old, I don't have nothing. I'm not like that E-Trade commercial with like all those old people.
Oh, I just saw the most black-pilled banking commercial. It's from Thailand.
I saw that one too.
Yeah. Oh my God, how black-pilled was that?
I was like, dude.
Like this kid. Yeah. I mean, for those. I mean, I don't know if I'm gonna post this, but for those of you who haven't seen it, it's this commercial of this little Thai boy, and there's all these temptations for him to use his money, like candy and ice cream and
Toys, action figures,
and street food and just lunch at school. But he's diligent and he saves up all his money.
He has
for
like
a telescope because he wants to be an astronaut or
or
something. And he's like typical little Asian boy, glasses, bowl cut. And he's just like being tempted, day by day, from his like peers, like, come
in that flashy arcade machine. He's like, oh god.
Yeah, he like
no.
It was like a Space Invaders, and he's like, he's about to put the coin in, but he's like, and then he like remembers like he has a fantasy about like him being an astronaut. It's like, oh no, and he pulls away, and then
I couldn't have fought that temptation with the video games. No thanks.
I probably couldn't either. Or me with the ice cream.
It's not the truth.
Yeah, and so finally, he's gonna put money in his like spaceship bank, and then like it won't go in. It's like I saved up enough, and so he breaks that sucker. He takes all the money and then he takes off running to the store, and then he gets there and he sees the telescope and it's like and then the clerk comes in, switches out the prices, and it's like. I think it was like $2,500 like whatever Thai dollars. Which whatever translates to like it probably translates to about I don't know in American dollars, but then the clerk comes in, switches it out to $3,500, and then the bank like commercial like it ends there. It's like the bank's like everything or something about interest or
it's like saving your money isn't just enough. You have to like invest.
Yeah. It's like
bastards.
Dude, that is such a black pill that like especially like if kids watch it.
Oh yeah.
It's just like what? It's like I thought if we save money that's a good thing. It's like yeah, that's a start. But you have to invest. You have to make your money You have to make your money work for you. Diversify your portfolio.
Yeah, actually speaking of that, because I one of the accounts that I have, it started with me when I was in the Navy. It was called the Thrift Savings Plan, which if you have a job that has that, invest in that because, it's like there isn't as much of a cap as to what you can actually put into it per like year, because in a lot of like IRAs, 401ks, all that stuff, there's a cap limit. Mm-hmm. The TSP I don't know if it's either there's the cap is higher or there's no cap. It's something. Either way, it's still like a great thing to invest in. And then the other thing that's good about that too is the money that's going in. It's before taxes take stuff out. So you're putting in pre-tax money. And then I know with like the job I have now, if I put in 5% of my paycheck pre-taxed into it, the government matches it, so I'm getting 10%.
Oh wow!
So,
damn, that's
by the
good.
time that I retire from, if I'm just investing in my TSP account, that's a lot of money, after 20 years. Whereas, but that's not the only thing that I'm investing in. So, what I'm considering doing is, so I'm restarting. I was gonna roll over my old TSP from the Navy into the one that I'm gonna do now with the post office. But instead, what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna take out the money from my old TSP, start up this new one, and then reinvest the money I'm taking out into like either some other ventures that I'm working on. I may take out some for myself, but then the rest I'm probably gonna reinvest in some other things. I might actually take some of it out so I can upgrade my computer, so I can do some stuff for other stuff for the podcast. But no, I'm looking at like because there's another thing that my grandmother set up for me that once a year I have the option, or if I want to like take out some of the funds and like be more aggressive with my investments. So I was thinking like, maybe I'll take out some of the money I have in there, and then not take it out, but like take out some of the money to reinvest in like some of the more aggressive ones. And if I take like if I take a loss, hey, whatever, it's only like a couple hundred out of the several thousand I have in that account. Good rule of thumb
is to only invest what you're comfortable losing.
Right. Well, it's like with that one, it's like I said, I have like 4 or 5 different stuff that I have going on. I think like my parents have one set up for me, my grandmother set up one for me, I have one set up from the Navy. I'm doing one with the post office. So I'm going to take out the one from the Navy and like reinvest in some other things. And then I also, after I had my old car totaled, I took it was a total loss, so they gave me what the car was worth. I think it was like 5,000. I just put that in a like a 401k. Because I already had like money that I had put in as a down payment for that car from something else that I had saved up, and then the car I have now, and then I just used the money I got from the insurance and put it in like a retirement account.
Nice.
So yeah, so it's like I didn't have money, but I have money. It's not like I'm just like completely at zero. Yeah, I probably would have more money if I didn't invest in so many other things. But I figure at some point I'm probably gonna live longer than I think I am. I'm gonna live.
Yeah. No. I mean. Yeah. I mean, and these are the things that people should hear. I mean, nowadays I don't know what I don't know what drives kids nowadays. Like if do kids nowadays dream about making money so that they could. I think there's less stuff that that kids would want to buy because it's so expensive that they have to have their parents buy it for them, like iPads or iPhones or whatever.
Yeah.
But I mean, back in my day, I saved
We just
up.
went without.
We went without, or we saved up ourselves.
Yeah.
I for my first Game Boy, I actually pitched in. I saved I saved some money from my allowance, or I sold things
Yeah.
to come up with at least a portion to pay for my first Game Boy or whatever. And my first job it was my own company, because in fifth grade, because half of being an entrepreneur is recognizing your assets and knowing how to utilize them. And so in fifth grade, in my class, I was the only one that rode their bike to school. And then one day I had stopped at 7-Eleven to pick up some flaming hot Cheetos for myself for lunch, or at least in addition
Lunch
for lunch.
champions.
Yeah. Well, at least to complement my lunch, with whatever my mom made or whatever the cafeteria was serving. And so one day, some friends of mine saw that I had a bag of flaming hot Cheetos. And they're like, "Oh, where'd you get that? Where'd you get that?" I was like, "Oh, I got it on my way to school." He said, "Oh, could you pick me up a bag?" And so, for the first couple times, kind of like that kind of analogy that I gave before about a guy who fixes cars and on his spare time, and then his friends ask if they could fix his, and so on and so that kind of for a while I would go and get them from my friends for free, but then more people were starting to ask me to get them Cheetos, and so then I got the idea, because they were only $1 back then, $1 a bag, and so I got the bright idea to charge $1.25.
Oh wow, that's pretty generous. I would have been like $1.50.
Yeah, no, I mean at the time, and then I charged them $1.50. So I paid, the dollar was for the Cheetos and the 25 cents was for myself, and so I just and then it's funny because the business got to be so big that I actually brought in my friend as an employee kind of partner, and because he had started riding his bike to school, was and then we had to, of course, increase the price to $1.50, and we split the profits 50-50. And so so I asked him to go stop by 7-Eleven too on his way to school to get Cheetos, and
Nice.
and it was a pretty decent enterprise. I made enough where I can go get McDonald's on my own if I wanted to, or candy, or maybe just whatever little thing that I could want and I could afford. And that was the first time. That was my first entrepreneur experience.
I remember when I was probably in 10th grade. Yeah, 10th grade. And I was in a architecture and engineering magnet at my school, and I got a job to do a a landscape design. They were redoing their front yard, and so I did that. I got paid pretty good money, and I bought my PS2 for that.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. Like, and I was able to get like a few games along with it, so I got paid pretty well actually.
Right.
So that was kind of cool. Yeah, I didn't like have a like business per se, but like, I did like a lot of chores, and so so I would just like save up my money. Like some of the times I would get like lunch money from like my mom. I just like wouldn't have lunch, and I just save that money. And it's like, oh, now I can go to the movies on Friday, or now I can get that game that I've been saving up for. The only thing like I never really had to like pay for, because like my parents like there was no problem, is books. Like
Oh, right.
books like what
something educational.
Yeah,
Yeah, your parents would be happy to pay for.
yeah, like book, you can have as many books as you want. Doesn't matter. We'll pay for it. That's not a problem. And so like a lot of times like I could go without, like it's, or I, some people are like, oh, this is boring now, and they like throw it away, where it's like no, it's like what we would especially like in our era, when I was playing games, like we played like Super Mario Brothers, like it's like, well, that was the game, like games they still they still cost the same, like they're still $60. It's that hasn't changed in this generation. But the
even though like cartridges have now gotten to like little what is it, SanDisk size things.
Yeah.
But they're still $60. But it's probably the time and effort it went into programming.
Right. Yeah.
Not necessarily the material cost of the cartridge itself.
It's mainly like
the intellectual property.
Right. So, a lot of times you're getting that game, it's like, well, that's what you got, and you could say, oh, I'm bored of it, but it's like, what we did is like, we just like, all right, well, what can we do different? Like, how can we challenge ourselves, make it like, well, in some of the cases of the games, it was just fucking difficult to begin with, so it would take us months to get through.
Back when the controller was simple, did you ever try and playing it like upside down?
I never did that. But like now, like it's like people are doing like, oh, well, let's try doing it with like a no touch challenge, so you can't get coins, you can't hit enemies, and that would make that a challenge. Or was it in the
right? These were the hacks before like hacks were
right. Or it's like we time ourselves.
Right,
I mean that's still a huge thing.
Right,
like on YouTube, like the speed runs. I am not good at those. I think the only game that I might be, if I played it consistently, like that was the only game I played, I could probably do pretty well with Super Mario 3. Depending on like you could do like okay, are you doing warps? Then there's like a certain like there's a record for that. Are we doing no warps? There's a record for that. I've always seen like the one with like warps. I think like the record for the original Super Mario Brothers is like 10 minutes. But the whatchamacallit, the I don't know. I haven't seen one with just like the no warp run. That'd be a lot different. But yeah, no, our era, we definitely took the time, and you either went without.
Capture.
Yeah, or we either went without or just enjoyed what we had, made it work. And then also, because I read a lot, so I had a good imagination. So, what toys and stuff that I had, like, I had a grand old time.
Yeah, I mean, our time, our generation, we were definitely the make do or, try to be creative types. And it's funny because I remember hearing, I think it was Joe Rogan's podcast, when he had this woman on, and like, she wrote a book basically saying, like, don't helicopter parent your kids. Let them go, let them go out, let them go, let them go open a lemonade stand. And, she was recounting the story of like this woman that she had, advised to let her kids, just go out and play play outside. Just simple enough. But she, when the kid came back, he was like saying, "Oh yeah, it was a great time. Me and the guys, we went down to like this creek, and then we built a fort, and da 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 da." And like, it was like, it's like the little bit of freedom that you give your kid to explore, and to and to kind of test their their limits. I think that that's so crucial to the growth of a child.
Yeah, like the
It was
You-
like the old rule. Like I mean, I'm sure it was the same thing for you. It was just like, hey, just be back before the streetlights come on.
Yep, that, and then like, it's like, or there were certain like limits, like don't go past this street,
Right.
or don't hang out with that kid. It's
Although I didn't have necessarily don't go beyond this street. It's just get back before sunset or before the.
I mean,
streetlights
it
come
is
on.
like, yeah, just be safe.
Yeah.
That
Yeah,
was,
no, I mean, I don't like my because I lived like a good mile away from my elementary school, and I rode my bike every day, so like, I don't think my parents never gave me they never gave me like a radius that I had to be like within, because again I was well every day I was traveling 2 miles back and forth from school. And so, I was already learning how to navigate, streets, street signs and, stoplights and stop signs, getting stared down by a bunch of senior citizens as I rode my bike past. Because my school was like, on my way to school, I passed this retirement home. And on my way home, like, the senior citizens, they'd be sitting out on the front and like just get some air or sun. And I remember like a lot of them would glare at me. It's like, it's like, damn kids, you and your utes.
yeah.
And so, yeah, so my parents were very and there were a few times that even I rode to my cousin's place, and they lived like maybe like 4 or so miles away from where I live. So yeah, my parents they were all about giving me. My parents gave me boundaries, but they didn't give me limits.
Yeah.
That's what it was. And
I think
I think that's
a great
way
way to
better than being a helicopter parent.
yeah, that's a great way to live.
Yeah, have boundaries, but not limits.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's how we grew up. That's like, part of the reason why I am the way I am today.
Yeah, I mean, because it forced us to learn how to interact with people, how to negotiate with people. Just like the everyday negotiations of like, being a good person and not, being a dick to people.
Right.
And just, being able to, walk down the street and knowing, like not to be a dick and, cross the crosswalk right when the light's going to switch over and all that stuff.
Right.
And so.
Yeah, and it was just, life was good, man.
Yeah, it seriously was.
I mean, I like the, like all the cool technology stuff that we have today.
Yeah, I mean. Yeah.
I mean this, but then like especially even like the gaming world, like it's pretty exciting with like what's
Right.
going on.
Yeah, I mean it's getting to that point where it's becoming immersive.
Yeah.
Pretty soon we're gonna have holodecks. We're gonna start track the shit out of this place, and it's gonna be one big holodeck, and we'll be able to reenact battles or games. We could been a part of the 19 I don't know sports, but World Series where Babe Ruth was playing.
Yeah.
And we could put ourselves into that game and play the role of like the second baseman or whatever, or we could fill the shoes of Babe Ruth himself.
Yeah, it's pretty exciting, like what's the technology that we have, and it's just unfortunate it's like the generation that gets to enjoy it is just they're like whatever.
No, they're completely over it because it's so mundane to them.
Like this
Yeah.
is one of the greatest things
Yeah,
ever.
We walk around with supercomputers.
This is more powerful than the computer I had, like the first computer I had as a kid.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like
Yeah, it's become so
1,000
mundane.
times more powerful than what I had.
It's become so technology has become so mundane to kids nowadays that this doesn't amaze them.
That's
This
a scary
doesn't amaze
thought.
them.
And it's
Well, I'm
then
sure it could be said the same thing, back in the day when Tesla or Edison introduced electricity or incandescent light bulbs, and
Right.
I'm sure adults when that technology came out, they were crapping their pants like, holy crap! You're saying we don't have to burn ourselves on candles?
Yeah. Oh, that's revolutionary.
Yeah.
Well, it's like the other thing too is like then the other problem is, yeah, oh whatever, I'm over it. But like they're everyone's using it, and it's like they can't like stop using it. Like it happens all the time.
Yeah.
Whereas like for us, it's like we remember a time where this wasn't a thing. We didn't have like the old like blocky like big cell phones. We had we had nothing.
Yeah, and I mean at restaurants, we had to just we just had to suffer and sit there quietly as our parents like talked, with their friends, or like if it was our parents, if our parents' friends were there and like they had a kid, then we just like go off and like run off, and just go play tag in the parking lot or whatever, but it wasn't it was never like this where we were just like
Well, my smartphone was a book. That's how I dealt with things.
Yeah, and I just I either had to suffer, or me and my parents' friends' kids would just go out into the parking lot or whatever, and just start playing Power Rangers or whatever.
Yeah, whatever game you came up with.
Yeah.
Yeah, but like I said, like, we remember a time when this wasn't like the cell phone wasn't a thing, and it's like we just had, you could kind of go off and be by yourself, and so I'm not always like a lot of times like I won't like use my phone, like it's like, oh crap, somebody called, whoops. Or I don't like, because sometimes
like
I get
sitting in a group of people like this, and everyone puts their phone on the table, and mine like still in my pocket.
Right? Yeah, I'm
just like I don't need it like I don't need it to be on in front of me, and because most of the times the people that call me, I'm already in a circle with them. So.
Well, that's part of it. No, I remember I was with a group of not like high school age kids, but definitely younger than me.
Right.
And like they're like, oh, dude, we should do this game like where we don't like the first person that uses their phone like has to pay for dinner. It's like, and I was like, yeah, I'm from the '90s.
Yeah,
like, that's not even.
All right, then I'm gonna order the most expensive thing and watch you guys like sweat bullets.
Yeah, it's like, that's exactly what I did too. It was like, all right, I'm from the '90s. I didn't have this stuff growing up.
I got this.
You guys are gonna lose.
Like, get ready to pay for my dinner, suckers.
And I didn't have to pay. It was awesome. I won.
Isn't that how it goes?
I had to say though, I am super happy with this new equipment.
Me too. So excited. So very excited.
Yeah. This is. I'm glad to get the upgrade.
Yeah.
We're gonna have some cool guests on, and we kind of had like a not live, but like a face to face nocturnal.
And I mean, this is a dry run for the podcast.
Yeah,
and maybe I'll chop this up and just put it out, like
behind the scenes.
Yeah, behind the scenes, or like tests. I'll just mark it as a test.
Yeah.
And this is so amazing. I can't wait to hear this footage.
Yeah.
Just I mean, I hope
if it's coming out like how I'm hearing it, it's gonna sound great.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm really enjoying the sound of it, and I made sure the sensitivity on the camera was set really low so it wouldn't like peak like crazy, and so so the sound should be pretty good and moderate, and I'm sure it's not picking up any of this.
And we did a good test run because we had, and for those that are watching, if you don't hear it, we have the TV on, sound on, loud air conditioner on, blasting because it's 111 today.
Yep.
And what we're hearing through the headphones is just ourselves.
Yes.
We're not hearing. We hear those things,
yes,
but we don't hear them.
We hear the ambient noise, but we don't hear it through the headphones.
So we're hoping that that's the case for you guys too.
Yes.
Otherwise, well.
I know. Then I just have to do. Then I have to go back and tweak some stuff, and.
Yeah.
But
that's why it's.
I mean. First time not making too many adjustments. This is pretty damn good sound quality.
Yeah,
I have to say.
And the other microphones work too.
Yeah, I mean, they're on and they're not picking up any of the other.
I don't hear anything from them.
I mean, watch. I'll transition over to this one. You can hear me. I hope. But nothing else.
And then I'm over here.
Right. Yeah. So.
This is a long time coming. I know we haven't done anything for the main show in a little while, but that is going to change now that we have the new equipment. We're gonna work on a bunch of episodes and
Yeah,
try to
and
get
we're
them
gonna
out.
get we're gonna get more guests.
We got some good guests lined up. I'm really excited for that. So more content is more. We got good things coming. For those of you who've been watching the other stuff with Nocturnal Transmissions, thank you for watching that. That's still gonna be going on. Up by Up Down, if you've been watching that, that's great too. I'm really really happy that you've been watching that. We are gonna do more stuff with that. We're working on something different with it. But in some way, in some form, it's gonna come back. Because that to me, that's kind of one of the main reasons why I wanted to start, kind of what we're doing here. But no, it's so that'll come back. It's in some form or another, and I'm really excited to get kind of back up and running on the actual podcast.
Yeah,
of
the main show.
So yeah, we got our first show back will be kind of a refresher, getting caught up with the Jerks with James, Andy, myself. We're gonna hear Andy go on an angry rant, so get ready for that. And more guests to come.
Yes, I mean if you watch the last Nocturnal Transmissions live stream, then you already saw me blow up a little bit, and why I blew up. But to see me go in a little bit deeper and explain why I lose my shit over this one particular show. Be on the lookout for the next regular podcast episode.
Right. Oh yeah, no, it's gonna be a good one.
Yep.
Well, should we mosey, Andy?
Yeah, I mean,
it's almost my
time
to roll.
Yeah, and but I'm gonna need your help to
load up the equipment. I know.
yeah, or at least get the bands on the wires, and we could get cleaned up.
Well, that's what I said. We have.
Yeah, and we could set up more stuff later.
Yeah, I got T-30. So.
All right. Let's get out of here.
So let's end it. So, thank you for watching this Circle of Jerks behind the scenes with Andy and myself, and look forward to more to come. And thanks for watching, guys.
Later.